Herzlich willkommen zu einer neuen Ausgabe SI Talk. Bin nach wie vor auf der PDAC. Neben mir ist Chris Richter. Er ist CEO und President oder President, CEO und President. AuRico. Wir haben letztes Jahr schon ein Interview gemacht mit ihm. Ich weiß gar nicht, ob wir es in Deutsch gemacht haben, also rein in Deutsch, oder haben wir es damals auch Deutsch-Englisch gemacht. Er hat mich gebeten, oder wir haben einfach entschieden, wir machen es in Englisch und ich mache am Ende dann wieder deutsche Zusammenfassung. Chris, thank you to have time. PDAC is this year
crazy as always. Yeah.
Crazy like always was in the good times, I must say. Then the last year, or the last 3 years, it was really bad times, and it was much quieter. But this year is unbelievable. It's the good old days.
I guess so. So it seems pretty crazy, but it's I guess a good sign for the industry when there's a lot of interest coming back and a very well attended conference this year.
You see the same. Some guys told me it's the first time since 5 years that some people come to your booth and say, "Do you need money? Do you need money? Can I sign a private placement? Do you do a private placement?"
I would say that's the case. I mean, I think we're seeing it just separate from this conference as well. If you just look at the deals that are being done, there is money again being put to use in the industry, and certainly money available. Maybe not for everybody, but for the right stories, there's no shortage. I think that's the case.
Mm-hmm. So that is really the big difference compared to 5 years, and a lot of people, really crowded, especially on Sunday, Monday. It was unbelievable. But coming back to your project, we talked last year in general more about the company, and please look the video from last year. So coming back, what's happened the last 12 months?
Yeah, it's been a productive 12 months for AuRico Metals. When we spoke last at PDAC in 2016, we were talking about looking to make both sides of the business more valuable, and AuRico Metals is of course a unique construction. We have a development business on the one side with the CAPEX project in British Columbia, but also an attractive royalty business which provides over 10 million Canadian in annual cash flow. And so the last year we've really been looking to advance CAPEX, to de-risk CAPEX, that development project. It's nice to see that both gold and copper prices have improved over that period. But more importantly, what we have within our control, we've been de-risking the project. And frankly, right now we're at a point where we expect to have our environmental assessment certificate before the end of this month, before the end of March.
What's the environmental study the only thing what you're doing in the 12 months to de-risk the project, or do other stuff too?
Yeah, we actually put out a feasibility study in late in the first quarter of 2016 with regards to the CAPEX underground project, which put forward attractive economics on the project, so that was a big step for us as well. And then separate from the work at CAPEX underground, we've also been advancing CAPEX East. So CAPEX East is just a kilometer away from CAPEX underground, and it's another big resource. So we've been drilling that off, and we put out a resource update on CAPEX East in January. So at the start of this year, when you combine CAPEX underground and CAPEX East, we now have about 13 million ounces of gold equivalent on the property. And let's not forget, it's in British Columbia, Canada. We expect to have our environmental assessment certificate this month, which is a big feat and takes companies a lot of time and effort, and I think will make us stand out all the more. But also CAPEX as a past producer. It was operating up until 2011 from a big open pit operation. We have $1 billion of infrastructure already in place. So when you put those things together, we feel it's been great making progress at CAPEX, and all the more we're getting to a point here where the market really needs to start to pay more attention and give us better value for that asset.
So that was the last 12 months, and for the environmental, they're coming up end of this quarter. So what's your planning also for the next 12 months?
So for the next 12 months now at CAPEX, if we receive the environmental assessment in the first quarter or before the end of March, that'll be a big catalyst for us. And the rest of the year, with regards to CAPEX, we'll still keep pretty busy on permitting. So there's no real risk on that permitting. It's a process. We're already working on those permit applications, but that will bring us to a point where we could make a development decision, subject to financing around the end of this year. So really a lot of progress at CAPEX. And again, that relates to CAPEX underground, but as I mentioned, CAPEX East is a big resource as well, and we're going to look to bring more clarity to the market as to how that might fit in, and certainly the value that we think exists there.
Do you know in which area the CAPEX will be to bring this in production?
Yeah, for KMS Underground, it's going to be $450 million US per the feasibility study. So when you think about financing of that, the key thing for us to point out is that, yeah, it's 50-50 about in terms of gold and copper, but in terms of product, we'll be producing a very clean copper concentrate. And copper concentrate is very much in demand, clean copper concentrate that is, from smelters and off-takers and traders. And so we feel very confident in the opportunity to access cheap debt for about 50 or 60% of our capital requirement by signing up to concentrate offtake at market rates. And just to throw it out there as well, we own 100% of the project. We don't necessarily need to stay 100% owner of it, well into the future. Also, KMS has no royalties or streams on it. But that kind of brings me to the point as to we wouldn't really want to put a royalty or a stream on KMS, even though it is fully unencumbered, because the other side of the business, which we haven't really spoken so much yet as to now, is the royalty side of the business. And we've been very active on the royalty side, actually, with a few deals, such that our royalty portfolio today is approximately 20 royalties. We still have 5 that are producing. We expect our royalty income this year will be, call it 11 or 12 million Canadian, based on guidance that's been put out from the underlying, the operators of the underlying assets. So again, a very, I think, compelling and undervalued combination in terms of KMS and the royalties in AuRico now, but probably a combination that won't stay as it is too far into the future either.
Okay, but what this mean to stay too far in the future? Mean this that you maybe split up both company and say one we have the royalty stuff and one we have KMS?
Yes, so we're always evaluating our alternatives there. At this point, we feel we've really advanced both businesses quite a bit, but there's a little bit more de-risking that we want to achieve. But thereafter, I do think we'll move more towards one as opposed to the other. And right now, we're still in the information gathering phase at a point where we don't feel yet we want to make that decision. But yeah, in terms of the sort of the extreme paths that we could take, I mean, we could focus on KMS and sell the royalties, really to provide a big component of that financing that we touched on earlier. Alternatively, we could put a royalty on KMS, sell the property, and focus on the royalties. Right now we've kind of been keeping those options open, but
split it, the dividend out the royalty company to your shareholder.
Exactly. Also a viable alternative. So that's more one in between and one that we're going to very much consider.
Chris, I think this was a great update, a quick one. Ja, das war jetzt ein Update an AuRico. Ich muss ja aufpassen jetzt bei meinem Summary. Er versteht ja super Deutsch und kann ja auch super sprechen. Also was er in den letzten 12 Monaten gemacht haben, war natürlich, er hat das Projekt KMS deutlich, der Risk, mir folgt kein deutsches Wort ein, also das Risiko rausgenommen. Umweltstudie kommt jetzt raus, also das soll jetzt Ende des Monats mehr oder weniger rauskommen. Und das ist natürlich ein wichtiger Punkt, denn Sie wissen, Environmental, Umwelt ist das Thema in der Minenindustrie schlechthin. Man darf auch nicht vergessen, nur zur Erinnerung, dieses Projekt, das war ja bis 2011 in Produktion und dort ist eine Infrastruktur von 1 Milliarde vorhanden. Das Projekt selber bringt, also nur das Underground, KMS Underground kostet ungefähr CAPEX 450 Millionen. Sie haben allerdings auch ein KMS West, ist es? Ost. KMS Ost, große Ressource auch noch, wo man natürlich schauen muss, wie passt das rein, wie kann man das dementsprechend adaptieren. Beides hat dazu geführt, dass natürlich das Risiko in dem Projekt zurückgeht. Und das war einfach ganz wichtig. Aber, und das darf man nicht vergessen, Sie haben ja noch einen anderen Teil des Business und das ist einfach das Royalty-Business. Und das Royalty-Business ist, Sie werden heuer, je nachdem, was der Operator, also der Betreiber der Mine gemeldet haben, circa 10 bis 12 Millionen Dollar, Canadian Dollar, aus Royalties bekommen. Und da muss man sich halt natürlich auch dann sagen, zu Recht, wenn man natürlich KMS in ein gewisses Stadium gebracht hat, was tut man? Denn eine Company, die sowohl einerseits produziert und auf der anderen Seite das Royalty hat, das passt nicht zusammen. Das ist da entwertet man einen Teil des Projektes, entweder die Produktion oder das Royalty. Und deswegen überlegen sie halt einige Sachen, was sie machen können. Ich kann nur sagen, also wäre natürlich super, wenn sie das aus Dividende mehr oder weniger ausschütten würden, den Aktionären, dann hätte man natürlich auch was davon. Natürlich ist es so, dass das ein schöner Teil der Finanzierung auch sein könnte. Wenn man das ganze Royalty-Portfolio verkauft, dann kriegt man sicher gleich einmal 60, 80, 100 Millionen zusammen. Das ist natürlich schon ein Teil, denn die Finanzierung von Chemes ist natürlich ein großes Thema. Er hat gesagt, der Teil der Finanzierung kann durch Streaming erfolgen oder durch diverse Deals, die gemacht worden sind, vor allem im Kupferbereich oder gemacht werden könnten. Damit könnte man ja so 60% des Projektes finanzieren. Wenn man dann natürlich das Royalty-Business verkaufen würde, wird das Großteil schon wieder für einen Equity-Teil reichen. Das ist natürlich diese Überlegung, die er natürlich entscheiden muss und weniger, ja, das ist halt genau das, was ein Chef tun muss. Er muss dann Entscheidungen treffen, in welche Richtung das geht. Und spannende Geschichte, nach wie vor, ich habe es letztes Jahr gesagt, das war eine ganz spannende Geschichte, eine der ganz interessanten Stories, die hier rundum laufen. Und ja, ich bin echt gespannt, in welche Richtung das geht, und ich glaube sehr wohl, dass wahrscheinlich, je nachdem, wenn man die Company teilt, am Ende wahrscheinlich mehr Value rausschaut, als wenn man es jetzt in der Kombination lässt. Ich hoffe, ich habe es richtig zusammengefasst.
Ja, sehr gut gemacht. Ja.
Sehr gut, super, passt. Dann können wir sagen, das war's von AuRico Projekt 2017. Tschüss. Danke.
Mit Vergnügen.